South African troops suffer heavy losses in DRC conflict. Oh ho away away away. Oh ho away away. In a significant development in the ongoing conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, South African forces have suffered heavy casualties while battling the M23 rebel group. Official reports confirm the deaths of 13 South African soldiers, but investigations suggest the actual toll could be as high as 50. The South African troops, part of the Southern African Development Community (SADC) mission, were deployed to support President Felix Tshisekedi's government against the M23 rebels. The clashes occurred as M23 advanced toward Goma, leading to intense fighting alongside Congolese forces, FARDC, and the FDLR militia. After facing overwhelming firepower, South African forces reportedly surrendered, and M23 now controls the strategic military base in Mamiro, near Goma. Burnt-out tanks and destroyed vehicles, some containing human remains, litter the area, highlighting the severity of the battle. In a recent meeting, South African commanders requested M23's permission to repatriate fallen soldiers' bodies, recover remains from battle zones, and access supplies stored in Goma. These requests suggest the losses may be far greater than officially acknowledged. The conflict has left South African troops in a precarious position, with many expressing a desire to return home. This marks one of South Africa's most significant military setbacks in recent years, raising questions about its continued involvement in the DRC conflict.
In Mamiro, about 25 kilometers from the town of Goma, there is a major military base housing South African troops who are part of the Southern African Development Community mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, or DRC. The troops were deployed to support the government of President Felix Tshisekedi in his fight against the M23 rebel group. When M23 advanced from Masisi to Ngugu, passing through Sake, toward Goma, the South African forces joined the Congolese army, or FARDC, and the FDLR terrorist group in fighting against the rebels, who are Congolese nationals advocating for their rights. According to reports from sources present during the clashes, after facing intense fire and suffering heavy casualties, the South African forces surrendered. The South African military base in Mamiro is located near a former Congolese army training facility. Currently, M23 controls the base after decisively defeating the coalition of Congolese forces, the FDLR, SADC troops and mercenaries. Burnt-out tanks and remnants of destroyed vehicles, some with human remains still inside, litter the area. Since then, South African troops have been in a difficult position. At midday on Thursday, M23 military leaders decided to visit the South African commanders at the Mamiro base. Upon arrival, they called on the base guards to summon their senior officers for discussions. It took about 5 minutes before the South African commanders emerged. Initially fearful, their apprehension lessened as the conversation progressed, even leading to moments of laughter. At one point, they even exchanged war updates and phone numbers. One M23 commander revealed that his family is living in a refugee camp in a neighboring country, and stated that even if he were to die in battle, he would do so fighting against long-standing injustices. He asked the South African soldiers why they were supporting President Tshisekedi against Congolese citizens and why they were fighting alongside the genocidal FDLR militia. The South African officers responded that such decisions were beyond their control and likely driven by political interests. After exchanging phone numbers, an M23 soldier jokingly said, and I quote, "I hope we'll meet again in Bukavu," end of quote. In response, a South African soldier admitted that he had no desire to fight anymore and just wanted to return home. The South African troops were curious about the M23 fighters. The South African commanders presented 3 main requests to M23. The first being permission to use Goma's airport to repatriate the bodies of their fallen soldiers. The second, authorization to access previous battle zones to recover the remains of their comrades. And the third, the ability to collect food and supplies stored in Goma, and if necessary use armored vehicles for transportation to prevent looting. After listening to the requests, the M23 officers told them to put them in writing. so that they could be forwarded to their leadership. They assured them of their willingness to assist. After the meeting at Mamiro, M23 commanders also met with South African officers stationed near Goma's international airport. Their conversation was friendly, with occasional laughter. However, one insider revealed to us that South African troops had directly supported the Congolese army and FDLR during the battle at Goma's airport, where they also fired artillery into Rwanda. Overall, South Africa has military companies deployed in Goma, totaling around 750 soldiers, the equivalent of 1 battalion. 5 companies are stationed at Mamiro, while 2 others are near Goma's airport. So far, South Africa has officially acknowledged the deaths of 13 of its soldiers in the fighting leading up to M23's capture of Goma. However, our investigations suggest that the actual number could be around 50. The fact that South African officers requested permission to retrieve additional remains from battle zones indicates that the real death toll may be higher than officially reported.